Welcome along to today's vlog. It's great to be back home, great to be back in the studio. As I said in the previous vlog, I will be soon moving out of the studio to a new place, so please bear with me if the uploads are a little bit more scatty than they usually are. I appreciate I'm nowhere near being what I was, but I'll explain why in this vlog. Today we're going to talk about something that came to me actually while I was up at my parents'. I've been away for a few days with the children up to Blackpool. Had a great time watching my hometown club Fleetwood. Now, while I was up there, all I had was my iPhone and my saxophone, really. They were the two tools that I had, and I really didn't want to spend too much time on the iPhone because it gets very distracting, especially with WhatsApp messages coming through all the time. But it led me on to thinking about something for you guys, and I thought about filming it there and then, but I thought, no, better off filming it when I get back to the studio and I have all the stuff that I need. And that's something that you should always add or always have into your practice routine, and that's playing some form of transcription project. You'll have heard me playing plenty of different licks and ideas and things like that. A lot of those things come from things that I've transcribed. A lot of those things I've transcribed are on the Cambridge Saxophone website. If you've not been to my Cambridge Saxophone website, the link is below. You can get 4 free video saxophone lessons from that website. But what my big aims, and one of the things we're doing at the moment, as I mentioned in the last vlog, is looking at Sonny Rollins' version of Surrey with a Fringe on Top, just learning to transcribe that and then, play that. And one of the things I was doing, and I'll do it in a minute for you, is just to play, just to get your hands round, your fingers round, getting this point, this audio bank. I used to call it a tape player. Of course, that means nothing to most people these days. But this audio bank that's inside your head, that all of us have, thousands and thousands of melodies inside this head of mine and yours. The trick of being a good saxophone player is to get those melodies from here, out of here, through the fingers, blowing down the small end of the saxophone, vibrating that reed, making your fingers move in time to what's going on here. Because so many times you read it, but that's a bit like trying to learn to paint, having your eyes closed and just hearing audio commands, isn't it? It's that silly that we teach music so often by reading dots on a page instead of learning to listen first. And by doing transcription projects, you're learning not only the right notes to play, but you're also learning how to play those notes, what articulation to use. There's just so much richness in there. As I've said before, the answers are all on recordings. So the one thing I want you to add to your practice, the one thing that should always be in your practice, is some form of playing something by ear, ideally something that's already logged inside your head. Now, for some people, that's transcription projects. That's what I do, and I'm trying to access that information of that audio recording that I've got in my head by studying that transcription. It's really got in. And when I say transcription, of course, I'm almost using the wrong word, because transcription implies writing it down. Don't write it down. Learn the thing by ear. Learn the solo by ear, even if it's just a small fragment. For others, if you're just starting out, being able to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star off 5 different scales will be an amazing help for you. It's going to help you much later on when you come to doing these transcriptions, come to doing these lines, that you can do them by ear. And so the one thing you should always have in your practice all the time is something that involves, of course it's not your ears, it's still your brain, but involves the auditory part of your brain telling your fingers where to go. sometimes as well, it's really good to go back to old transcription projects, play the original recording, see how much of it you've actually got right, and how much of it has started to change as your ears have got, well, used to it, changing it, moving it into what you think it should be. And that's in a way, yes, you want it to be right, and you've got to learn it right first of all, but the goal is to be able to take what somebody else has done and sort of turn it into your own thing. That's the goal of transcribing. Headed out to run a load of errands, one of which was to take some of Amy's way overdue library books back to the library, and the library is closed. And I don't know what it's like in the rest of the world, but certainly in the UK, whenever it's the school holidays, the weather always turns terrible. We were up, say, in Fleetwood, Blackpool, we had Storm Dennis, and the weather was not great, and now we've sort of returned back here to Cambridgeshire, and it's miserable and horrible. And I was going to do some more jobs in the house today, but better get out and about, and I really want to go for a nice walk, but really not conducive to it. So just doing some general admin in the coffee shop, that sort of thing. One of those gigs we've got coming up is at Clare College in Cambridge. It's actually under the chapel. It's really, really amazing. One of my former students, Matthew, organises the jazz gigs there. Yeah, and it's also set up under the chapel. Things I am doing, if you have seen that gig before, is I am changing the programme. We are going to be doing more like Sonny Rollins' Nuke's Time, Wayne Shorter, Adam's Apple, those kind of albums, because there's so many amazing albums on those Blue Note recordings, particularly those 1960s ones. So we'll keep the favourites in like Moanin' and Cantaloupe Island and those kind of things, but I want to try and create some more things in the set. We're also doing it again in Cambridge on the 16th of March. And one of the reasons I'm looking at those other albums is we're only doing that one as a quartet, not as a quintet, because we have done it as a quintet and sextet before now. So anyway, need to head on the road, go back and watch the football. So we didn't get any footage on the way home from Cambridge. Basically, met a friend, it went dark by the time I finished talking, got home, I had a student at 7, kind of eating my dinner, and now getting ready to head out to the jam session. There are 2 fantastic jams a week usually in Cambridge, on a Tuesday and a Thursday night. Sadly, there are evenings that I can't normally go out, so I'm taking advantage of having a Thursday night child-free and heading out into Cambridge to the jam session. There is an Extinction Rebellion protest taking place in Cambridge. It is a very serious subject. I might put some of that later on in the vlog. I'll see how well I get parked, but it means I'm going to take a longer route round to the jam session, which, all things considered and given what they're protesting about, I know is a minor inconvenience. Although I do want to say to them, what could I possibly do as a musician in this kind of scenario when I live and there is 1 bus a day through my village? There's no way of me getting to Cambridge any other way, so I have to take the car, but that's a whole other question for a whole other day. One thing I did get up to, which I didn't show you before when I was away in Blackpool, is I got the chance to play on this wonderful 1931 cigar cutter tenor saxophone. This was just footage off my dad's mobile phone. it's a friend of my dad who her grandfather owned that saxophone. Anyway, she's going to put it in for an overhaul, and when we've done the overhaul, I will do a proper video and I'll have a proper blow on that tenor. Really, really looking forward to it. It's always great to be able to play vintage saxophones and to see it in its original case, and reeds that are like 40 years old in there, and a Brillhart mouthpiece, all sorts of things. And I'm really, really pleased that this friend of my dad's is actually going to keep hold of it and play it herself rather than sell it on. I think it's great, you know, people want to be able to get hold of these vintage horns that have family value, sentimental value as well, and play them. Anyway, need to put my tenor together, figure out on the jam session what I'm going to play, and I'll see you there.
Thank you.